rewarding has this start been for you after, I know you weren't immune to some of the heat that you were taking the last couple of years?
Well, I think it's rewarding for all of us, to be honest with you. I mean, at the end of the day, the players have been through a tough time as well. So, for the most part, I'm really happy for those guys, the staff. We were able to execute and able to, win a big football game and play hard, play well, and do the things that we were asking. So, it's a credit to the players, it's a credit to the coaches.
How much of a confidence these guys have now, Mark? I mean, in years past, it just didn't seem like they really had it. But to get a win like that, do you see a difference in the level of confidence that players have on your side of the ball?
Yeah, no doubt. I think they developed confidence. I think they developed it in the spring. I think they developed it in the offseason. I think they developed it in training camp. And then obviously, like we talked about before we played our opening game, you really don't know until you get out there and play, get a feel for where you're at. But I think, the first two games are an indication that we're improving. We're executing better. And, with that performance, demonstrated performance, comes confidence for the players.
Can you even put, without giving away, tactics and all, can you put in perspective how much more you're able to do on a game day than you were not 2 years ago, even just last year?
Well, I don't know if it's much more. We're able to execute more. You try to run stuff. You have thoughts. You try to do some things, and you go back and again to the blind eye. You don't know it's one guy not in his gap, but that's usually what happens on defense. Really, all it takes is 10 guys can be doing their job, one guy's out of the gap, and you could get hit for 15, and all of a sudden you miss a tackle on the second level, and it's out for 60. And it really all started because one guy didn't do his job. So I think what's happening is the level of execution is better. The guys understand what they need to do. There's a better maturity. So that's always what it comes down to on defense.
How much of that goes into accountability in the room too? I guess it doesn't always have to be you saying, do this.
It's at the point where it's not that way, and which is a great point that you make, because there's guys in there that have put a lot of work into this deal, and they're starting to own it. And it does. It comes from the leadership. I don't have to say very much when a guy doesn't run to the ball on the film anymore. The guys are getting on him more if a guy's not in his gap or doing the right thing. So it's a lot different than it was.
Granted, it's a small sample size, but so far red zone defense has been really good. What's been the keys there?
Well, I think that's something that, to be honest, we've been pretty good at. We've had some success there. We had a couple of games last year that killed it. I think the Virginia game, but the Virginia Tech game, they were 0 for 4. We gave them 12 points. They were 0 for 4 as far as touchdowns go. I think the year before we were number 2. In 2011, we were number 2 in the country. So, again, it all just comes down to execution and not panic. Really, when you have mature players who can execute, it's really just trying to win one down at a time. Really, that's all we tell the guys to do. No matter how they got down there, you got to figure out a way to win one down at a time. Execute the call that we put in. Don't look ahead. Don't worry about hey, they're down here or how they got down there. It's really just about execution. So I was excited about that. Anytime you can take points off the board, obviously, is going to be great for the defense and the team.
When you face a team like this week, that your guys won't know a lot about except what they know on the film. I mean, obviously nobody's seen them on TV or whatever. How much do you have to guard against that human tendency to kind of freelance and just try to make plays, thinking that you've got an overmatched opponent?
Yeah, again, we certainly just want to show them why we had the early results is that we have executed, and really it's going to come down to execution again. No matter who we're playing, we have to do our job. We have to play hard. We have to be motivated by pride. That we want to look good on tape, and we want to show up well, and then that we can get more guys doing it as well. We have to bring more guys along who can execute at a high level. In order for us to be where we want to be by the end of the season. So there's a lot to play for. We hadn't had a chance to play in a week. I know the guys were probably anxious to get back on the field, after a big win. But they did a nice job during the week in practice. We got a lot done last week, and we got a lot done today. So.
Mark, just to take as an example, to the linebackers that have improved, Cornelius and Armbrister, with them, is it simply a case of putting on weight and practicing? Is there more to it in terms of why guys like that make significant, visible improvements?
Yeah, it's physical and it's mental both. It's physical that they can hold up and they can do the things that they're doing now. That part helps them, but again, it all just comes back to the execution. A guy like Cornelius is executing a lot better than he has. In the past, he was a third down guy for us in special teams and did a good job with that role, but when he got in on first and second down, it was spotty. You weren't sure if he was going to be in the right spot or do the right things. And now he's at the point where you can take Denzel out and you can put him in behind him, and he's going to go in there. He's going to execute well. And he's been one of the guys that's had a really good summer and a really good early camp. So there's really not much of a drop off when he has to go in there. So it's a good thing.
And with Armbrister, where's the growth been there?
The good thing about Armbrister, was he was forced to play because of suspensions and injuries and those things last year, where he started 3 games. So he got that experience, and It was unfortunate that he was hurt in the spring. He missed the spring, but he's very smart. He's very versatile. He does a lot for us. He's playing Sam and Will. He plays both Mike and the Will on the third down package. So you can plug Thurston around and move him around a lot, and he does a good job.
A.J. Highsmith, I know he's only had 3 tackles. I know he doesn't start, but he had 2 really huge play. You talk about his contribution, what he brings to this team.
AJ's been great. He's a hard worker. Very smart. Very coachable. Can take charge on the field and help the younger members of the secondary and the team get lined up. And he's continued to improve. So, he's been a vital part of what we do. And again, it's fun to see some of those guys continue to grow. From the time we started coaching them a couple of years ago, continuing to get better.
Staying at safety, what does the play of Rayshawn meant to you, especially without Dion being there? And just how he's kind of stepped up and fit right here.
Yeah, Rayshawn's growing. He's growing as a player. Again, he started, I think, the last 2 games last year. It took him a while to get comfortable back there last year. He started the last 2 games of last year and made some mistakes. We all remember him. But the thing about Rayshawn is he really loves football, and he took to it this offseason to really learn the position, learn the fine points of our defense. He's got all the physical tools. He can obviously run and catch the ball, and he's got range, and he's physical. So, just look for him to continue to get better because he really enjoys the game.
Mark, guys that are looking to get just increased reps on defense, I guess maybe already burned to be one, but maybe who are some of those guys?
Yeah, there's a lot of competition in the secondary, particularly at corner right now. So we're looking to see how some of those guys can step up. But Hardy's a guy that's competing hard right now. Elder, those guys will all be competing for reps with Crawford and Gunther. So we'll look for those guys to step up and just get a little deeper along the D-line. We need Kamalu and Hamilton and some of those guys to step up for us. So I'm sure I'm leaving some out, but again, we're looking for the whole group to improve and continue to put more guys in the game that can help us achieve at a high level.
I know it's been more than a week already, but just Tracy's interception, first one for him, just when you saw it on film and reviewed it, what did you like about what he made? What he did there?
He executed. It was a smart play, and we were playing we ran a pressure for the sprint out, and he released the ball quickly, and he was doing exactly what his job was. If the number 2 receiver came off to the flat, he was going to come off. So he backed out of there and he sat on it, and he saw the route coming, and he went ahead and made a play. So it was really a smart play.
We've always known that Gaines is a leader, a smart guy, but what has he done in terms of improvement as an on-field middle linebacker? What skill set has improved basically last year?
Well, the first thing is Jimmy got healthy. A lot of people don't know, Jimmy had foot surgery last offseason, and in the first 5 or 6 games, he was not healthy. He was fighting through for us. He was not 100%. He could get out there and give us some snaps and do some stuff, but he was really struggling. And then once he was in there, full time in the second half of the year, I think we had, then Curtis got in there. I think we had a lot of improvement, just particularly from him running the show. But he puts himself in good position to make plays. He knows where to be. He knows the spots. He knows the angles. He knows the fits. He's very precise. So he's a coach on the field.
How has having a healthy Curtis Porter helped the line?
It's been great. Obviously, we got 2 guys in there that are playing nose tackle for us right now that didn't really play for us last season. Curtis played, the last 2 games last year. Or 4, I can't keep track. 1 year it was 2, right? The year before it was 2. No, unfortunately for him. So I'm happy for him. I'm happy that he's, knock wood, he's been playing and staying healthy, and nice 1-2 punch in there with Porter and Renfro right now. Help solidify the middle and really could help.
Last question. Coach, with a guy like Kirby who played quite a bit last year, haven't really seen so much from him, is it because of injuries last year, or just guys being so good in front of him and the competition in depth, or how do we understand that?
Yeah, well, unfortunately for Raphael, he got hurt in training camp, and he really didn't play. His first game was against Notre Dame last year, so he really missed the first half of the season, and we threw him in there, and then he played a little against Carolina, and so he didn't really get as much, as we had hoped from him last year. And then, just more competition. We moved Kelvin Kane, the Mike linebacker, and those guys have been battling week in, week out as far as who the second team guy is. Kelvin won that previous week against Florida. Bigger O-line, bigger backs. He's a bigger guy. He's about 250. And we felt like he could give us some great reps against the run game, which he did. Kirby had a great bye week. He really had a great week last week. So those guys are battling back and forth, but he'll continue to get better. We're excited about him. He's a good player. He's a smart player. He's tough. He's instinctive, and he'll continue to get better. But he's only played 8 college football games. So he's, some guys it takes a little bit longer to get where they're at. And really the other thing is there were a lot of guys who played last year that aren't playing right now because the competition is greater. You know, they were a backup on a defense that wasn't very good. You know, at the end of the day, they have to understand that. And now, we're improving and we have more competition that they're going to have to fight, to be a 2 on this defense.
Awesome.